Right, so we're back. I got a new phone clasp, so I can finally try the top-down thing. So I hope that works. Because you never know. So this next crate that I'm doing is kind of filled with mostly pip decks and then some other decks that I think are just cool. And the deck I'm starting with is this one, the Akashic Tarot by Sandra Ann Taylor. This had been on and off my list for the last couple of years. It is a really chunky deck. It's a Hay House tarot deck, but to be honest with y'all, it is more of an oracle, honestly. Gotta be honest about that. Because it doesn't have 78 cards, and it kind of has this, I don't know, oracle tarot hybrid structure where the minor arcana is very easy to read, but the majors are like way different. So number 2 would normally be the High Priestess, and here it is, the Akashic Library, and all the majors have completely different meanings as well. So it's not very easy to link to the normal tarot system, like 11, the Ark of the Covenant. There isn't really a matching sort of vibe. So I do like this a lot. I actually studied it. When I talk about studying a deck, I spent a whole weekend reading the guidebook, taking notes and stuff like that. It's a really cool deck. However, it is kind of fugly in that cute Hay House sense. Where it has, and this is not from 2004 at all, but where it kind of has that 2004 Photoshop aesthetic. And as weird as it may sound, sometimes I'm really in the mood for that. So yeah, this is a really cute deck for people that kind of want to try something different at some point, that are kind of like, hey, I want to change up my tarot gig. I honestly think most of these cards are actually really pretty. But some of them, there are a couple of stinkers in here though. But look at that, Uriel and the Sphinx. That image is stunning. It's on the newer Hay House cardstock, but with the matte finish, in the sense of that matte lamination. Not matte finish, matte lamination. So I do like that a lot. It's kind of reminiscent of the Blue Angel thing, but not really. And it does have quartz too, but I believe it's just king and queen. So it's an interesting deck. The thing I love the most about it is the backs, actually. I think the back design is really, really strong. And then some of the cards are really pretty as well, and some are a little less so. But like I said, this is not going to be like a full flip through. If you want to see a full flip through of any of these decks, just look them up. This is just me going through my collection, talking to y'all, because these are fun to do. I'm not going to, I did edit the last one, and that whole process definitely made me go, yep, this is why I don't edit, because it's annoying as hell. I want to up my game, but not that much. The next one is the Mythologia Fennica Tarot, which is a really cool indie tarot deck from Finland. This one can take some time to get used to, because there is sort of this this thing with it where you can really do a quick and easy tarot reading with it. There is a color that indicates which suit it belongs to, as well as a Roman numeral, and then it has the mythology that the card is based on. It has that on the bottom. So Birth of Fire would be Ace of Wands, so if that makes sense. Forest Maiden would probably be Page of, it's Earth of Earth, so that's Page or Princess of Pentacles. So I hope that kind of makes sense. There's a lot of really cool mythology. The guidebook is amazing. The art is really good. It's just the usability of the deck, I think, could have been a bit better. It would have been really rad if there would have been some way to incorporate the traditional title into the card rather than having these little bubbles on the side. So that's, yeah, that's difficult sometimes. It's difficult for me to get into. It definitely is a fully functioning tarot deck. So I'm not saying that to be all like, yeah, this is a tarot deck that's more like an oracle deck. It's not. Like, all the mythology ties in perfectly to the meaning of the actual tarot card, and they are numbered as such. So it's not that. It's just that I would have preferred an actual, like, card title, maybe even underneath here or stuff like that. But the mythology in this, it's just amazing. It's also really interesting to kind of see similarities between Dutch mythology and folklore. So that's a major, the Tree of Life. So that will be the world. Yeah. So yeah, these make sense. The liberation of the sun is the sun. The beginning is the fool. So, you know, you kind of get it. It's just, it's just that I don't use this deck enough to instantly have that recognition with the little bubbles at the bottom that are indicating which suit it belongs to. So yeah, it's really, really cool. It's really pretty. I've heard on the grapevine that, you know, things are going to happen with this deck. Keep an eye out for it. I hope it still goes through, but I can't spill the beans, unfortunately. But it's a really good deck. Another deck I really like that I got at my local store, I mean, come on, is the Spacious Tarot. The literal first indie deck I saw on Instagram when I started my tarot page. And I was like, what? Decks like this exist? It was a picture of the box and then this insert. This space is for you. It just made me fall in love with the box. And honestly, book boxes that aren't magnetic but are like this really turn me on. Like, they really do. Loving the cardstock, loving the matte finish on this, loving the backs. I mean, look at that. This is a really pretty deck. This is honestly, so far, and I'm saying so far because I'm expecting a new one soon. So far, this is my favorite tarot deck that just shows place. This is in the Pip box. I mean, the ones I showed earlier definitely weren't Pipish. They were just in here because storage reasons. All the other decks are going to be Pip decks. This is definitely a very Pipish deck, but it's stunning and I really like it. Normally, I'm not that into this sort of more cartoony drawing style. For example, if you compare this to the Gentle Tarot, I like this a bit more. I'm really glad I got this. It's also very user-friendly, very easy to use. It could also be used for a beginner. I think not an absolute beginner, but you know, if you've been studying the Rider-Waite for a while, this could be a really interesting second deck to get if you're up for a bit of a challenge. So I really love these cards, man. Like, I promised myself I wasn't going to do any more piles, but I think I am, because this definitely needs to go into the pile of me telling myself to use these more. So yeah, it's just superb. I love that we're getting a lot of the wands because I adore them. There's so much cool contrast going on, so much cool stuff happening here. I love this Lovers card, the intertwinement. I love all the Wands cards. It has elements of Rider-Waite-Smith. It has elements of Thoth. I love this Devil. It's a really, really cool deck, and I feel like it got a bit too much hype, maybe. This was sort of around the time that people were started getting a little bit, like, too excited about decks, and this is definitely one of those decks that got maybe a bit too much hype. I'm really surprised that this hasn't been picked up mass market yet, honestly. When you compare it to a lot of the stuff that did get picked up. Another one that I really like. I use this a lot when I read for others. The Pagan Otherworlds. We've all seen this. Do I think Uzi are amazing at creating decks? Yes. Do I also think that they are a bit overrated at this point in time? Also, yes. They charge exorbitant amounts. The quality of the product is really good. But, you know, it's not the second coming of Christ. Another deck that I feel like got a bit too much hype. You don't really see it used that much anymore. The tarot crowd is fickle, y'all. I do love it. I use it a ton for for clients, like for real life clients at the shop. So because I love the pippishness of it. It gives me room to do my reading without a lot of people being all like, oh, what's that card? Why is that person dying on the floor with 10 swords sticking out of their back? No, it leaves room for me to explain the meanings of the cards and do my reading for the people and tap into my intuition. And I love that. I really think this is probably one of the best tarot decks to come out this century. Like, this will go down in history books, and I envy the level of artistry involved in this deck. It's just so good, and yeah, I should use this more. Also, the reason why I haven't is, again, because when you see stuff all the time, you get bored of it. When you see the same people using the same deck, using that same Lightseers, using that same Modern Witch, using that same Pagan Otherworlds, you get kind of bummed out. So, yeah, it can get a little bit annoying. Another deck that I absolutely love and use a lot, but more in winter, so this is not going in my pile, is the Lonely Ice Tarot by Dark Sinevere. Dark Sinevere are a Ukrainian collective of deck producers that got a lot of crap pre-pandemic because, you know, over here on this side of the pond in Europe, it's not all about the customer is always right, and, you know, it's all about doing your due diligence as a buyer and reading conditions before you order, like a rabid lunatic. They were always very clear on their Etsy saying this is a pre-order. I got this deck for like 15 or 20 euros, like for really cheap. So they don't charge you a lot. It's kind of like their way of doing a Kickstarter, because a lot of countries can't do Kickstarter. The list of countries that can is actually pretty small. So they kind of use those pre-orders on Etsy. Did they go about it in the right way all the time? No, but do I love this deck? Yes, it's very modern. It's very aesthetic. It's very cute. It's, I don't know, it's very pippish. I love the pip arrangements on this one. You know, like, although they can be a bit lazy sometimes, but I do love the symmetry. I love the sort of geometric shapes on the cards. I love the geometric shapes of the animals represented in the major arcana. Like you can see very clearly here, there are a couple of humans in here. I wish they wouldn't have done those. I wish they would have kept the animal idea and put that fully through the deck. I would have liked that a bit more. But this deck went through some changes. Like, they started the deck with an artist and he like kind of ditched. So they had to redo all the art. And I do like it. I like it a lot. I love this magician. I mean, come on. I honestly would want a print of this on my living room wall, like a huge ass print. So yeah, it is very wintry, very northern inspired, and really cute. There were a lot of people commenting on this deck though back then. Dark Sinevere decks are definitely art decks, but then again, aren't a lot of like Los Scarabeo decks as well. Let's be honest here. So yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. No need to like rekindle the flame with this one because it's totally not going anywhere and solely staying in my collection. So yeah, I'm actually, the pile of decks that need rekindling, I'm not going to display them at all right now because I already have all those animal decks, and I didn't even have time to take a picture this morning, let alone add 6 decks to that list. The next deck, I already took the box off, that's not so smart, is the Fox Tarot, the Pips edition. The very first, the Fox Tarot. They have an illustrated edition now, and I don't like that at all. The Pips edition is way cooler, even though, you know, you may not like Pips, but the Pips edition has this really, like, heavily stylized major arcana with a lot of one-eyed girls and shit like that. It's on really good cardstock. The Pips are very Pippish, as you can see. The guidebook to this deck is stellar. The creator really had something to add. Once again, we get those geometric animals. Seems like we're getting into a theme there. I love the stylization of this artwork. I think it's really cool. It's really like a little line work. It's very tight, but we're kind of getting this almost 70s feel as well, which I adore. And I just think this is a dope as hell deck of cards. It's very mysterious, and I love that the creator initially, you know, she did cave. She did do an illustrated edition, which is completely different from this. So don't think you're going to get the majors and then newly illustrated Pips. No, she redid the whole thing. I just really love this deck. It sort of exudes a raw energy that I feel is kind of lacking from the illustrated one. She also did an oracle deck, a self-care tarot oracle that I didn't jive well with at all. As a matter of fact, I didn't like it at all. So I rehomed that, and it's now with someone who likes it a lot more. It was a really ingenious concept. It just wasn't for me. I love this world card. Yeah, looking at this, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I don't use this that much for my Instagram feed because I feel like although it is very stylized, these Pips actually are really boring to look at, which is not a bad thing when you like use the deck for a reading. It's more that for an Instagram pic, it can get a little bit boring. So I'm gonna put that on the pile, but I'm gonna use it a little bit differently. I'm gonna take all the Pips out, and I'm just gonna keep the quartz and the majors and do a draw with that for my Instagram. But I do like using that deck a lot. Up next is a deck that was way too expensive for what it's worth. It's the Lost Forest Tarot. This cost me an arm and a leg on Kickstarter. It's in this really flimsy, folded cardboard box. You can literally see the fold marks right here. But this was like super ethically printed. And usually all these super ethical printers don't really have the tools necessary to create a quality box. And you know, if I pay like $90 including shipping for a deck, I want quality. Sorry about it. But the art is stellar. This is definitely a deck that I would run back into the house for if I forgot it in a house fire. It's absolutely stunning. It's super usable for me. It's very Pippish because there are no illustrated minors. They are very Pippish, and they really fit well with my reading style where I incorporate Golden Dawn, Aleister Crowley's teachings, and especially numerology in combination with the major arcana. That's just really, really my thing. And yeah, looking at this and looking at the autumnal vibes that I'm getting from this deck, I should definitely use this more. Yeah, so this needs to move to the top of the pile pronto. I mean, look at that Page of Oceans. It's very fall, liminal space energy. All the minors are a I forget the name, a Myriorama, just like James R. Eads' minors usually are. So they're really pretty when you lay them next to one another. I adore this death card. There's so much to see in here. Chelsea Santa Maria is a stellar artist, and it's just a really stunning. Look at that Ace of Earth with that little man. This is very much a look at the card for a while and discover new details every time you see it type of deck. So yeah, I just can't stop showing it to you. Like, look at that Fool. It's just so pretty. It's so freaking pretty. It's so good. And I'm really glad I got a chance to get it. Even though the box quality is really bad. I mean, I can't stress enough what a shame it is to have this deck in such a bad quality box. Up next, one that I don't need to rekindle my love with at all, the Voyager Tarot, which Martin gifted to me, but I would have gotten it anyways, because this is probably also another one of those decks that's never, ever, ever gonna, that's definitely going into the history books for what it's done. It's really interesting. Sometimes it's a bit creepy. I believe this is all hand collaged. Can you imagine? And it's very stylish, even in this day and age. It's very, very new agey. I love the keywords of the cards. I love the philosophy and the whole idea behind the deck, and it's just so stunning, and it's such a fresh take on tarot, and there's so many layers upon layers upon layers. The quartz are renamed, which is absolutely stunningly done to make a lot of sense. Most of y'all must have seen this by now, because this is kind of a classic. It's a classic. It's not a classic in the sense that it doesn't get all the recognition it deserves all the time, I feel, but tarot connoisseurs and people who can kind of look past the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s aesthetic of it all can really do appreciate the ingenuity of this. The Fool, though, with that creepy-ass doll, I've learned to love it, but this card was the sole reason for me never buying the deck. Even though, you know, there's really cool cards that are just amazing, like this, for example, this Magician. It's so stunning. It's really cool. It's really well made. It's you know, a lot of that AR art we see right now kind of looks like this, but less good, you know, and that's the tea on that, sister. So yeah, that was the Voyager Tarot. No need to rekindle the love, because the love is already there. So that's going straight back into the box. Another Dark Sinevere one here. Look at this. This is the Regal Shadows one, and this looks so good. It looks like it came straight out of the Usi Vault. It's on really thin cardstock, but it shuffles really well. It has really gorgeous matte gilding, and it is really, really pretty. This looks like a tarot deck from an old witch who hand drew this, and you know, it looks like there's only one copy in existence, and it looks like it would definitely freak some people out. It's really stunning. This illustration work is just amazing. Let me see who was the illustrator for this. Valeria Verti. Absolutely stunning, stunning. Really good job on this deck. Honestly, it's really good. Does it do once again, very much an art deck. Does the art always make sense? No. Do I need to have everything spelled out to me, and do I need to have everything be very cookie cutter for me to work with a deck? No. I adore it. I adore the aesthetic. I mean, come on now. So yeah, that's a really cool one. I already love it. I would like to use it more. Is it going in the pile, though? The pile is kind of a mess at this point, because I just now saw that I put a lot of decks where I was like, nope, they're going straight back into the box. They will soon find their place. I see that I didn't put those in the box and also added those to the pile, so I may just, you know, have to reorganize it a little bit. So bear with me, guys. You know, I see all these American people with their great video production. Haha, I'm not talking about you, April, but you do have great video production. These are all no's. Quickly gotta do this, guys. Not going in the pile style decks. And these are yeses. Oh yeah, another Pippish one. It's cute. The Labyrinth Tarot. I like that a lot. I do love the artwork by that guy, Thomas Hijo. You know, it's an Inside Editions deck, so we're getting a lot of, you know, pips. The thing is, I don't mind that at all, but, you know, after a while, you kind of, like, get the point where you're like, okay, I don't need 20 Inside Editions decks because they're kind of very samey all the time. I love the movie Labyrinth. It was one of the first scary movies I saw. And it's just stunning. I mean, I think we've seen this all. I think the cardstock is really good. The quality is really good. I think Inside Editions, you know, they could take a bit more time designing their decks, be a bit more mindful about the designs, but I do love me some good matte lamination. That's, I am learning a lot from going through my collection like this. And, you know, I'm learning a lot about types of finishes I like a lot. Look, a dead baby on a horse, so it's a good deck, right? I'm learning a lot about that. So yeah, that's really cool. Loving that. Oh, look at that chariot. So yeah, it is a cute deck. I do like it. Don't really feel like using it right now. This was definitely a deck for a season, and I think its season may have passed, but, you know, due to nostalgia's sake, I'm just going to hold on to it. I'm not going to let it go at all. Yes, this can go straight back into the box. Let's move on, because this video is going to be a bit longer, guys. Whoops. The Nomad Tarot. Oh man, I saw this on Martin's feed and I was like, I have to have it. This is probably, I envy this artist and her sense of style. It's absolutely stunning. Stunning pips. Exactly the way I like them. It reminded me a lot of my first tarot deck, actually. It's really, really, really stunning. Really well made. I love the negative space on the cards. I love the linen cardstock. There's just so much to love about this deck and about the craft with which it was made. It's insane the amount of symbolism that is in here, even though it is a very bare bones deck. So yeah, I love this one a lot. I think it's so classy, such a classy deck. Like, for real, guys, look at it. Yeah, do I need to show more? I don't think so. I think we kind of get the gist. Look at that Queen of Water. Man, there's so much behind all of this that I mean, I could do an hour-long deep dive video about this deck. Things that are interesting about it. Things that, if you only notice them, they already teach you so much about tarot. So, yeah, love this Hanged Man, by the way. That was definitely an inspiration for the Hanged Man in my upcoming tarot deck. Man, but a really good, like, monochromatic black and white deck like this, man, that really, really floats my boat. You know, with me, it's either extremely colored and stuff like that, or it's really monochromatic, minimalist. Up next is the Transire Tarot, also by Dark Cinevere. This is the first edition, so it may not have certain cards that are in the second edition. This is on really, really zany cardstock. It's literally like cardboard, but it does have a core, it seems like. It has matte silver finishing. I've shown this a lot on my channel. This is another workhorse deck of mine that I love using for clients because it is so abstract and because it gives me the agency as a reader to do whatever the hell I want and tell my story. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff going on here. And I see decks like this. Once again, I only paid like $20 for it. I see decks like this going for $60 to $70 on Etsy, and I'm like, well, I got a prettier one and it was cheaper as well. So yeah, you kind of get the gist. The Transire Tarot, stunning deck by Ukrainian deck producing company Dark Sinevere. Never had one problem with them. They've always been very cordial and very approachable to me, at least. And you know, who am I? I'm no influencer. I don't influence anyone. I'm just a consumer, and I never had a problem with them. The Renaissance Tarot. Yay! An older US Games deck. Probably the first gay homoerotic deck to hit the mass market ever. It's really, really cute. Are these all the cards? Yeah. So yeah, this is very homoerotic. It's definitely an older US Games deck. I like it a lot. Very pippish. Lots of nudity in it as well. Really cute depictions. Really interestingly done. I love this art style. Normally this is not my jam. This sort of like Art Nouveau, but I do like it a lot here. I think it's really pretty. Most of y'all must have seen this by now, so I'm not going to be spending a whole lot of time on this deck. I also kind of want to keep the video short. But yeah, I love it. I really like it. This Ace of Coins is my favorite card in the whole deck. I mean, oh, what an inspiration. Really cool guy. He was gay as well, so that explains the creator, Brian Williams. He's no longer with us, unfortunately. I think he did a couple things for US Games. I kind of forgot. But this is a dope as hell deck, and I feel like it secretly is the inspiration for a lot of people. For a lot of decks that came after it. The next one is one that I thought I had rehomed, but apparently I didn't, because I was talking about this with Martin on a live, and I was kind of like, oh yeah, shit, I rehomed that, and I shouldn't have, because I did like it. I just was a bit pissed that it was coming to mass market so quickly after the Kickstarter had ended. Really pretty Marseille pip style deck, really cool. This is definitely going into my, well, the reason why I haven't used it as much, and this is going to sound really superficial, is because it doesn't photograph that well. The gold foil decks, I love them, but they don't photograph that well. They don't even video that well. As you can see, you get embellishments in gold foil, and then playing card pips on the cards. You can kind of see it a bit better here, so you kind of get the Marseille gold foil overlay and then the playing card pips. This was a really cool project though, but I could have waited, and I would have been able to get the mass market version for a lot more affordable price, and it's probably even better quality, because these cards are thin, y'all. But most people in the tarot community have seen this deck, so we're moving on. But the Keymaster Tarot is cool though. I do like it. I even broke the box. The quality of the tuck box is really bad. But yeah, it's a cute deck. It's a cute deck. So yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah, the Botan Tarot. This one's a really cool one. I saw this and I was like, bitch, what? Is this a real thing? I followed the whole creation of the deck. I'm not the biggest fan of the box, by the way, because it has this like cute ribbon idea that doesn't really work, but it's on really pretty linen cardstock. And it has these gorgeous designs. This is the card that made me fall in love with the deck. as well as the 3 of coins. This started out as a majors only, and it was completely like the creator added all the minors, and the minors are kind of pippish, so I love that. Love that a lot. I love the subtlety of the color. This is really pretty, and I should use this more. This is going to the top of my to be used pile, actually. Like, I should show more, but like, it's just so Asian, so unapologetically Asian. Also, another favorite card of mine, the 5 of Wands. It's just stunning. Amiyako is not afraid to have sensuality in her cards, is not afraid to show guys in her deck, you know, have guys exude power and sensuality as much as the girls in the deck. It's just absolutely stunning, and it's really, really good work. Really good illustration work. Gorgeously painted. Just takes me, once again, takes me back to like late 80s, early 90s anime and manga. And it's just stunning, 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 stunning. So yeah, this needs to go to the top of my to be used very soon pile, because it's just probably one of the most interesting decks that that I have. Honestly, there's a lot of really cool stories behind all the designs, and I'm such a sucker for good Asian art. Always have been. One that doesn't need to go to the top of my list because I love it is this classic right here, the 1JJ Swiss. It's so good, so good. This is, I mean, is it, it's for purists, this is not a Marseille. However, for me, this is, I mean, it is a Marseille, but it's not a classical Marseille. This is my favorite Marseille deck, and it's really cheap. I hate the backs. Yeah, they have brown plaid backs, but it also kind of like, I don't know, it kind of gives me that nostalgic feeling. I love the way this was illustrated. It's so good. This is one of the classics. Like, I prefer this. Give me a 1JJ Swiss over the Rider-Waite any day of the week. So pretty, so illustrated so well, so amazing. The coins are to die for with that striking black against that yellow. Oh man, they almost radiate color. It's just stunning, stunning deck, stunning piece of art. Really, really, really well produced, and really affordable. You can get one of these for like somewhere between $10 to $20. Really, really well done. I adore it. I adore it. Don't need to rekindle my love with it. This one I kind of do. I maybe used it like once. The Marco Benedetti tarot deck. It's cute. It has these really simplistic backs. This is a Game Crafter deck, I think. Yes, this is a Game Crafter deck. But it's cool, though. It's really cool. I'm not getting rid of it, but I don't really feel the urge to work with it a lot either. It's very minimalist. It's really dope. It's very Marseille. It's really pretty. It's very stylized art again. Seeing a lot of stylized art. I'm seeing a lot of hard line work. That's stuff that I love, and that you can also kind of see in my own vids. So yeah, you know, this is it. I love the wands. The wands are my favorites. It's really pretty. It's in Italian, and it's really cool. It's really cool. It's very usable for me, but I don't reach for it that often, and I don't really get that sense of, ooh, I want to reach for it more now that I filmed this. No. But, you know, like I said, I already culled my collection a lot, so I'm not going to be, like, super reckless and go, I didn't. I need to like cull this now because I'm not using it every day. No, that's not me. And another one, which is also a classic, the Tarot of the Witches, the James Bond Tarot deck. I think it's really, really cool. Really, really unique. It's stunning red plaid backs. That really was a thing for a while, wasn't it? Don't think I've used this a ton. No, it's still in order. I do look at this a lot. I love the art. Let's, skip a bit. The art is really good. So this was used in the James Bond video. It's, it's very pippish. The pips are a bit boring, as you can see. So they kind of decrease. But, it works. It works. It works, and it kind of is a classic. It's so very, like, 70s. This was from the 70s, I think. The cardstock has a really interesting feel to it. And it's cute. It's cute. It's a cute deck. So, yeah, do like it. But I have a pretty big to be rediscovered pile. So, and those were all the pip decks that were in the designated pip deck box, because there are a lot more. But this is I'm just going box by box to kind of like rekindle the flame when it comes to some of my collection. I hope you liked it. I hope you could see a bit better top down. Thanks to the new phone clasp and the new ring light, I can finally film at night without distracting shadows and stuff. So thank you for watching, and bye-bye.